So I want to introduce this video really quick. It's my 5th video in the Create Your Own Planner series. And in this, I'm going to do an easy quarterly planner layout for goals. Every year I will do an annual look and have a vision, and then I take each quarter and I take a look at the goals I want to have in that, and then I refine it down again into monthly, which will be the next video. So hopefully this layout is helpful to you. It's really simple, basic. If you have any questions, please pop them in the comments. Okay, so I'm going to walk through how I create my quarterly view layout. Again, this can be used for a bullet journal, or just if you want to add something to an existing planner and customize it. Every year I will actually take the high level goals that I've created for the year. So here I have high level goals, and then what I'll do is take a quarterly look and say, okay, so what do I want of this higher level vision for the year? What is it that I would like to accomplish this quarter? And so I'm going to walk through. The layout is going to be these 2 pages, and I'm going to create a little piece on like an identifier for what this page is all about, and then I'm going to create the layouts, and they're going to mirror each other on each side. So again, I'm using a Moleskine notebook, extra large, with squared or grid, just so you can see it hopefully on this video. What I'm going to do is count squares to set this up, and I don't count, just for the record, I don't count these partial squares on the corners. I just work with the full squares. So the first thing I'm going to do is count in. So I'm going to count in 2 squares. I'm going to put a little dot here. This is going to start the little feature that says what this page is, like almost like a name tag or nameplate or something. And what I'm basically going to do is create a rectangle. So I'm going to count down 2 squares, do a dot, count over 3 squares, do a dot, up 2 squares, and that will be the rectangle that I will use for my, and what I'm going to put in there is the year. And I do use a pencil to start, and I go back over with a pen so I can erase if I make mistakes. So I'm going to make this a little bit more interesting than just squares. So I'm going to count over 1 square on one side. I'm going to go in the middle line here, and I'm going to count over 1 on this side. I'm going to make a stepped, I don't know what the real design term would be, but I'm going to make a stepped. I'm going to go down, follow the grid, and I'm going to go over again so that it has this kind of more unique, almost like a pyramid shape. And then I'm going to count down 4 squares and put a dot here and make that connection. And what I'm creating here is a way to show what is in here. And I'm going to use this over here to put a dot, kind of eyeballing this. I'm going to connect the lines. Going in, down, and I'm going to connect this down here. And so again, the year will go here, and then I'll probably write either Q1 or maybe season 1. Sometimes I'll do seasons if I'm feeling kind of earthy. I'm going to then create, I want to know what months these are. So I'm going to create another rectangle that's similar to this one up here. I'm going to go 1 step down. I'm going to eyeball this. I'm going to put dots here, going 2 down. And in this one will be, because I'm starting with Q1, will be January. And I'll obviously use abbreviated because it's a smaller square or a rectangle. And then I would like to just have an interesting feature here. So I'm going to go count down 5 squares. And I'm going to do dots for another rectangle. And I'll show you what I'll do with that and more of the finished product towards the end. Now I'm gonna create the layout for the first section. It's gonna be a very large section. My intention is for this very large section to be more household related. That's the subject I use for it. And so what I'm going to do is count over. So from the inside of here, I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3 squares, or 2 from this edge here. And I'm gonna do a very similar pattern. And then I'm going to count over 8 squares, put a dot, and that's gonna start my tag for labeling what this one is. And so I want a rectangle. This rectangle is gonna be 10 long, and I want it to be 2 wide, so put a dot there. Then I'm just going to use that as a guide. And then I'm just gonna take this over and do that same pyramid stepped. So the length of this, like I said, is gonna be longer. So this is gonna be 28 squares long. So I'm gonna start counting from here. I'll just put a dot here and I'll connect those. And again, I'm going to take it in one just to kind of give it a little feature. Boring squares are not always fun. I'm going to do the same on this end, and then I'm going to connect these. So that's my big one here. I'm going to mirror that probably on the other side. And then obviously if you want shorter ones or you want to do 3 on this side, you can, modify this. So I'm going to start the next one. So from the top, from this little edge here, I'm going to count down 4. And this is going to begin the corner piece that I had up here. I'm just going to mirror that. And then I'm also going to count over 8 again. Or you can eyeball it because it's going to mirror exactly what's going on up there. It's just shorter. So here I'm going to create a very similar label, place to name this, and me measure where this would go. Once you get the basic structure, you can just kind of eyeball things. And what I like to use this section for my quarterly goals is habits. What habits do I want to create during this quarter? Is there anything new I want to implement? Is there anything I want to continue working on? So that's how I use this section, since it's a smaller section. And obviously you can do whatever you would like. All right, and so that's this page. I'm gonna mirror this on the other page, and starting with this piece right here. So I'll count down 2 and count over Okay, so now I'm going to take my pen, this hand lettering pen, and I'm going to go over this pen doesn't bleed. It's really nice. And so I'll go and trace everything and make it a little more solid. Okay, so now I'm going to erase the pencil that's kind of maybe jutting out in places, and then I'm gonna do final touches and add text. So I decided to use season 1, and I'm using a calligraphy pen just to make the text look a little different. So I'm going to have a category that I use that may seem a little strange, but it's called all the things. And so this is all household things like B&V, renewals, kids stuff, all of that. This is going to be habits. This is going to be projects or business. These would be personal projects or even hobbies. And then this will be financial goals.